This is Lifted, a podcast by women for women. I created this podcast in order to showcase the strength women bring to the table on a day-to-day basis. Women in business, women in employed roles, women in athletic and sports capacities, women in motherhood and parenting, and even women as partners in relationships. It is clear to see that when women come together to support each other, they create such a strong force and help each other live their best lives and show up as their highest selves in this roller coaster called life. I also showcase and highlight the strength in women undertaking bodybuilding as a sport, the mental resilience and discipline required to get oneself through competition prep, and also what it takes to take your body through such an extreme sport by sharing experiences of different athletes in the sport. Having this platform to talk about all these things is important to me because based on personal experience, it was the key to unlocking my true potential, and by passing this on, it might inspire you to do the same in a different or similar capacity. This is Lifted, a podcast to lift you up, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally too, by talking about different ways of dealing with daily challenges we all face. I am your host, Carol West, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Sisterhood. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series of Lifted podcast. It's been a while since I recorded an episode, but we're back with a bang, and today I have the pleasure of introducing a very great athlete who I wanted to chat to for a very long time. The timing wasn't right when I first reached out to her, but somehow our paths aligned eventually, and here we are. I really don't know where to start with her because there's so much I want to ask her, and I'm so intrigued to find out about the person behind the phenomena that is Heather Toman, PNBA Pro. Hey Heather, welcome to Lifted, my lovely. It's been a while since we organized this, and I am glad that we finally got around to doing it. It's fantastic. It's really wonderful to have you on, and I would like you to start us off by just introducing yourself to our listeners and tell us a little bit about you before we dive into the exciting stuff, Heather. Not that you're not exciting. Let's go for it.
Well, Heather, and I'm doing bodybuilding. And what sort of things, like what job or just?
Yeah, just something about your background. So, like, what do you do for a job, and where you're at with life right now in terms of your ambitions and where you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I work in customer services for a tube manufacturing company. And yeah, that's pretty much my day job. 9 to 5. And yeah, I like my job. Absolutely love it. But on the side of that, fitness wise is just bodybuilding now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like before that, I did like. I've always been interested in fitness. Like I've always loved training, and yeah, it just gives me that really good vibe of it. Just lifts me up. I really do benefit from keeping fit and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know what else
I get that. I completely get that because I'm the same. Like, quite interesting conversation I was having with a client this morning, actually, because she was trying to get me to talk about how I ended up in bodybuilding as well. And I just said to her, like, yes, I've tried different things before, and it just felt like it wasn't me, things like beauty and all that. And I was like doing it, but at the time, it just didn't feel like it was me. And as soon as I crossed over to like training and being in the gym setting, I felt like I found myself. So I completely get where you're coming from with that. It's like training is kind of it makes you feel alive.
It does, yeah. It's when I was training before bodybuilding, I would pretty much do, I don't know, you do like frigging 3 classes a day or something like that. I was just, but I had such a lovely group of friends that I used to do it with, and there was a big group of us, and we used to just bounce off each other, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I used to just, get up, go to the gym, train with mates, go to work, finish work, go back, go training.
Yeah, same thing again. Rinse
Yeah,
and repeat.
it was just pretty much just living at the gym all the time.
Yeah.
But eventually, I was just wanting more and more, and there's just only so much you can physically do because
Yeah.
I don't know, I was just keep upping the game all the time, and I think one point I was like on the runner with a bloody weighted vest on. Do
God,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
And I was just like, I don't know. It was just trying to make it harder. I was
Yeah.
just trying to make it harder. Or say if we were, because we used to do like hit. It was like hit CrossFit E style
Yeah.
classes, and I was the one that always had the heaviest weight, doing the snatches
Of
and
course
stuff
you
like.
are.
Yeah, so I was always the one that was more progress. Like everyone was really fit, but I was just the one that was always at the top
I
end
am.
type.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what got me into bodybuilding was well, my group of friends that I was with, my friend Lauren, she's got a sister who I think she lives in California now, actually, and she was visiting at the time, and she was Miss Olympia in bikini,
Okay.
and she said she just went, yeah, you'd be really good at bodybuilding. And I was just like, no,
No.
no. She's like, honestly, you really
Yeah,
would. And I was like, oh, and it kind of like planted a little seed.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
just made me think, well, actually, I could give it a go. I could give it a go. But it's weird because when I was younger, I always,
Oh, I've lost you there slightly. You're back now.
yeah,
Yeah, you're back.
back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, do you know when you're younger and like you see people on the telly and you're like, oh, I'd love to be one of those people.
Yeah.
But you never think you're ever going to be one of those people.
No,
You
no.
know,
Yeah,
you never think you could never achieve
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when she said it, and I was just like, yeah.
Mm.
So I messaged my coach at the time, Nina, and I said, could we do bodybuilding? And she was just like, absolutely.
You
Yes,
do
we can do
that.
bodybuilding. Yeah, of course we can. If she's
Yeah.
going to do her there, that's what we'll do. I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay then, brilliant. Right. And yeah, so it kind of like started from there really. And yeah, because at the time, I think it was about I think it was about I think it was about September, September 22, September, October 22,
Hmm.
where I think that's when I started learning posing.
Okay.
So, and yeah, that's when I started to learn to pose for bodybuilding. Because I didn't realize,
The
it's like,
thing
oh
though,
yeah, I want to be a
yeah,
bodybuilder. Like,
this is again that's a part that I want to talk to you about because your posing is just absolutely spot on. Like I see
thanks.
you put your videos up and it's like you've been doing it years. Do you know what I mean? It's really, really good. So 2022, did you say when you started?
That's when I first had the thought of wanting to learn to be a
Yeah,
bodybuilder. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, in terms of posing, that was just another journey in itself.
No,
Like that was just because you don't realize what you
no.
have to do. It's like you don't. It's not just getting up on stage and going like that.
Yeah, because
It's
initially that's what people think that it is until you start doing it and you're thinking like, bloody hell, this is
yeah,
really hard.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so because obviously my coach said, look, you're gonna have to learn to pose. I was like, right, how do I do that then? And
Yeah.
she says, well, you have to get a pose. You need to go and get a posing coach, learn to pose. And so luckily, I had a posing coach, Amanda Winston. So she's
Yeah.
quite local to me. And I reached out to her. And yeah, so what we decided to do was, well, I suppose with the category as well, I suppose the category that I would need to learn to pose for. Because when I was speaking with my coach on what category to go for what my frame was, it just definitely wasn't bikini. Definitely not bikini. No, I don't. My waist isn't that small. But so when I went to Amanda, she taught me my posing from figure.
So did you start at figure then? Yeah.
Started at figure. Yeah, she learnt me. So I went in there and she says, right, so she went through all the mandatories and what have you, and it was hard. I was just like, because first she was like, oh, you need to learn to lat spread, and she was like, right, and she did it, she just puffed up, and I was like,
oh yeah,
okay. So I was like, let me try. So I tried it. I was like,
try that.
Yeah, why aren't I doing that? Why aren't these moving? Hello,
they're not moving. Why are we not moving?
And I was trying so hard. I was like, well, it's not working. It's just not working. I can't do this. It's like you just need to practice. You just need to practice. So when I was going back to the gym that I was at the time, where my group of friends were, I pretty much just done it in the changing room. I used to put my phone in. Do you know when you have the lockers all stacked up and they've got all doors, and I would literally just line my phone inside it with the door open with my water bottle behind it.
All right, okay.
And then I would record myself. Yeah. And I would just record myself and just like learn that way, because I just didn't really dare go out on the gym floor and just do it in front of everyone, because they had mirrors. They had like a mirror there. They had like a long half mirror, and then they had one long mirror. So eventually Nina was saying, you're gonna have to like just do it on the gym floor. I was just like, what? Oh, I felt so stupid because it wasn't pristine, polished at that point, So, but then it would build up your confidence as well. So I did it eventually. And then after that, I was just like, right, I'm going to do it. And then I just got more confident. I just did it as normal, like, it was just a normal thing to do. Just do it in front of the mirror, in front of people. And I just thought, you got used to it. Yeah, and then so that's what I did. But in terms of posing though, I did it every day, every opportunity I could get, looking in the mirror, even when I went to the toilet at work. And they had the mirror, and washing my hands and stuff like that.
We'll do that, friends.
Any opportunity I got, I just did it. And but Amanda did say, she said, Heather, she did say to me, she said, Heather, you're a brilliant client for that, because you can tell you're putting the work in. Like, I'll show you how to do something, and when I come back and see you, you've got it. Yeah, because I put the time in, and because I wanted to be the best at it as well, and I wanted to be really good at it, because I just thought, how embarrassing would that be if you went on stage and you couldn't do it.
I know. Worst nightmare. I used to have like nightmares over it. I need to practice it. Need to get it right.
I bet you're absolutely fine though. It's just more, it's like self-doubt, isn't it? But I think another thing is, like, when you're on stage, you've done everything you possibly can. And you need that feeling inside you to go on stage and be confident as hell, because you've done everything you can to before you've gone on there, and that's what it's all about. So worked my ass off.
I think you look phenomenal. Like, I'm gonna ask you, you haven't got like a dance background or anything like that? All your routines do you get them from a coach, or do you do all your routines and stuff?
Well, what happened was, because when I did the figure, when I was learning the figure poses, it was just, your front, sides, and then you did like an eye walk, and that's pretty much what I did over and over and over again. And I got that polished, absolutely polished. And when I went on stage with the UK DFBA, when I went on and the lineup that I was with, obviously they bumped me up a couple of categories. So with the posing on the next category, you needed to have a routine.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't prepared for.
You're like, what is this?
and the posing was different as well.
Yeah.
So
what did you go up to?
I went on as figure, and then what happened was so I went on and I didn't get called, and everyone was just like, why? And they pulled me back and they said, look, we want to put you up into the next category. And I was like, oh, right, okay. And he was like, yeah, so would you mind coming back on? I was like, yeah, so that's physique category that you would go into. I was like, right, okay. So which was pretty much the same, but then you obviously you would have your hands differently and your sides would be different. And I had a rough idea of what they were, what I needed to do, and I quickly went over them before we went on stage. And to be honest, they were really good with what I knew, so I was really pleased with that. But with the posing, the routine on that one, we pretty much, I had to wing it. I had to pretty much wing it before I went on, and that routine was. It was all right, but
it was all right. I bet. Yeah, I don't think it was bad at all.
Everyone loved it. It was brilliant. Yeah, me and my coach practiced it together before I went on. We did it for about an hour or something, and then we went back on stage.
Oh wow!
So that was fun.
Can you imagine? Like, it's quite stressful on show day anywhere as it is. Never mind having to add on learning a routine on top of the stress of show day. I don't know, maybe you take show day quite differently, you're quite chilled, but I'm usually like this. So I couldn't imagine having to learn a routine when I'm in that state anyway. So well done you.
Yeah, I suppose with my first prep, I thought, I don't know, I just think, obviously every prep's hard, but that definitely wasn't my hardest prep.
All right.
First prep, I don't think so. I think because when I went on as physique, I won that one, and then I went back. Then they wanted to invite me back, but they wanted me to invite me back as a bodybuilder.
Right. Okay.
So that was where obviously I had to learn the bodybuilding poses.
Yeah.
But I only had a short period of time to learn them in, and that's where I kind of put a bit of pressure on myself, because I thought, well, these need to be polished. Yeah. These need to be better. And that's something that I wasn't confident in at the time. But with the posing for routine for that routine, I had to do myself, because Amanda, she was, I think she was prepping herself at the time, and she had other clients and things like that. So for that, at that time frame, I didn't really have the support for posing with my routine as what I would have liked. Like, she helped me as much as she could, but she had other commitments, which but it is like a total respect for her, to be honest, and everything else. So yeah, no drama with that. But at that point, then I had to do my own, and without any sort of real tuition on doing a routine. I just did the poses that I liked. I chose my music, and I wanted my music to be really dramatic, and I just chose the poses that I liked. But I think what it was lacking in at the time was probably joining them together more fluently and more choreographed type of thing. Yeah. But it went as well as it could. But I think when I look back, I'm thinking, yeah, it gets so much better now. But and then after that, so that was a very successful show. And then I won the bodybuilding UK and international championships at that point. But then and then I did another stage after that. But after that, that's when I went to Victoria Dales, that's the routine that I've done this year. Okay. No, sorry, not this year. God, time flies. Last year. Not this year. I'm not competing this year. Last year. And that's when, Mitzi, I've just got the dog right there. She just kicked it. What's she like? Oh dear, we're still there. Yeah, so then I went to Victoria Dales, and yeah, so I chose my music again. And with my last routine, what I wanted more than anything was to get an emotional response out of the audience.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be like I just want it to be like a showpiece. Like, do you know when you get that butterfly when people go,
yeah,
and you get that, or you get like goosebumps and like,
really strong emotion.
Yeah, I wanted to create that with the audience, and the music what I chose definitely done that. And yeah, so I went to Victoria, and I was just pinging her poses that I liked, and she's got the dancing background, so she's like a professional dancer. I think she's a dancing teacher and what have you. And she helped me put that together. We worked extremely well together. And she would say, what about this? And we're going to this. And I'm like, yeah, I like that, but we could do this. So we made it together, but I think it definitely wouldn't be as, I think it wouldn't have been as good if I didn't have her, giving me that.
Right.
Yeah, and that was my last routine, which, yeah, practicing that, well, I did that every day, so many times a day. I pretty much sent it to my coach and Victoria as well, and I felt sorry for my coach Nina, because she must have about 1,000
million things.
1,000. I'm like, what about this? Look at it now.
Yeah, what about this? How is it now? Look now.
Like, Heather, yeah, it's brilliant. Like I'm like, yeah, but look at it now. This is like the next day. I'm like, yeah, but look at it now. Yeah. And then by the end of it, she's like, Heather, it's immaculate. It's immaculate. Because that's just what, that's the stand. Yeah, you have to set yourself a standard, don't you?
That's incredible. Like you were so zoned in on it, and like so focused on what you wanted to produce and bring before the audience. Like you had a vision in your head of what you wanted. So I think it's in your Instagram, isn't it? That video of that routine.
Yeah.
I've watched it. And, like literally, I wasn't in the audience, and I got goosebumps. Like, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, I've not seen such grace, well, not for a long time. Like when you go on to the amateur shows, you don't see that level of like fluidity, and like everything comes together so beautifully, and like how you move, and every move is like very intentional, and wherever you place your foot, it's like you've literally thought through every move, and it's like clearly it's very intentional. There's no mistakes with it. And I looked at that and I thought, like, wow, I would like to move like that, but I've got 2 left feet, so it's never going to happen.
Yeah, but you saying that though, I'm the type of person that, you have a drink first and like, yeah, all right, well, I can dance now. It's like, but I think it's just, I just want to be the best, and I wanted to showcase my best, and I just put in the graft every day, and I wanted it. I just wanted to get such a positive response from it, and yeah, it was such a really good routine. Like, my mum, she cried, bless her. My mum cried when I did it the first time at the World Championships.
Yeah.
That's when I did it the first time, and everyone was just like, that was like breathtaking. Yeah. And then when I did it at so I done it there, and then I done it at the where was it at? Romania. I did it at Romania, and then the last time I done it was at Olympia, and that's the one that's at the top of my feed. And when I did it on that one, I got a standing ovation, and they said, like, that's the first time that's ever happened in this room. No, that's never happened before. Wow. And I was just like, and when I did it, when I finished, and I finished at the end, everyone screamed, and they were, and I was just like,
God.
I was a bit blown back by it, and I was a bit blush, a bit like, oh. You know, I didn't expect
Like,
that myself.
I bet that felt like, what, how was that for you, like getting that experience? Like, I bet you were just blown away by it all.
I was definitely, yeah, on especially on that one, because what was going through my head, what I was saying in my head, I was like, this is the last time you're going to do this now, girl. Come on. Like, and I was doing it every move. I was just like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I was like, just bring it, just give it all.
absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I absolutely loved it, and I loved it doing it on each of the 3 stages. I've done it last year, and I just absolutely loved it. Yeah, I loved every single second of it.
Nice. This is just, I love hearing stuff like this. But what I'm really keen on knowing now, Heather, is obviously I want to know what your journey to becoming a pro was like. I want you to take us through the what you know the whole process of when you were preparing to go on stage before you became pro, and what things went through your mind, and what kind of did you expect it? Was it something that you thought would happen when it happened the first time? How was that for you as an experience? Like, just talk us through your prep through that time before you became pro, and up until leading to when you became pro.
Yeah, that's a good time, because when I was prepping for the World Championships, that was a time where, because we weren't sure if we were going to compete for that, but then I just thought, I can't miss out on it, because it's the World Championships, it's held in the UK,
Yeah.
and the feedback what I got from my first season was, I needed to build my legs up, because we trained for figure, and by the end of it I was a bodybuilder.
God,
So
so quick.
yeah, in the space of like 2 months. So yeah, it was a bit mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to be fair, I did bring the legs in really well,
Yeah.
but I needed to be bigger and better. And when when we had, I think we had like about a 10 week mini build. That's all I had from jumping off from 2020, from 22 to 23, before I was prepping again. And that was for the World Championships. So I pretty much trained my legs off. My legs were trained; they were just trained to
How
bits.
many days a week did you do legs then?
It was we did 3 leg sessions a week.
Okay.
But it was a lot of volume
Yeah.
on the legs. Yeah, but to be fair, my step count wasn't that bad. I didn't need to do that many steps, but cardio, that was, I think it was only 2 cardios I was doing
Oh,
for that.
really?
I think so. But then eventually I went to 3. Can't remember when I did 3. But yeah. No, I don't know. I think it might have been about 3 then. Can't remember. But it was a
Right.
Stairmaster anyway. So that was, to be fair, I went on the Stairmaster only because you got no choice
But no,
but to keep
yeah,
moving your
the step
legs.
master is always there. You will have to use it at one point. You can't
Yeah.
avoid
And if you know, prepping again, I'd jump straight back on the Stairmaster. I wouldn't do anything other,
the
because
step master.
some
Yeah.
people go on the bike and that. It's like, really?
No,
It's like
you
mental
got to go to the
torture.
step master. No. Yeah.
Yeah,
That one.
no. But from when I jumped off at the end of 22, and
Yeah.
then I was in that 10-week build type of thing, headspace from training, it was really difficult to, like, yeah, because it was quite difficult to jump back into it. You know, just on a mental aspect of it. But once I was in and well in, I was like, yeah, right, let's go. And then when we were prepping again, yeah, we just saw it was just a bit more intense, I guess. Yeah, it was definitely more intense, because obviously I got leaner as
Yeah.
well, a lot leaner than my last show. Which, yeah, it was good. It was all right. I think later on I think after the World Championships, after that, that's when I was like, this is gritty. But yeah, for the World Championships, yeah, didn't expect it at all. So I went there, even even in registration, there was when you do your registration, when you're doing for the show and that, and the girl behind the desk, she goes, "Are you a pro?" I was like, no, girl, I ain't no pro.
No.
I thought I was in the wrong line. Like, I thought I was lining up the wrong friggin' line. I was like, no, but you're brilliant. You come here, get the cuddle. She like proper set me off. Brilliant. But
Yeah.
it wasn't even the radar. It wasn't even on the radar, to be honest. Wasn't even on the radar. And so yeah, and I just totally forgot what, right, yeah, okay. Went out my head, didn't even think anything of it. And then yeah, so went on world champions. Yeah, went on, got the world champion amateur, and then that's when they said, "Oh, can you hang on a minute?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then they just came out with this card, and I was just like,
"Okay,
what's happening?" Yeah, like what's happening? And yeah, didn't just it at that point. Because obviously I wasn't prepared for it. Because you are so prepared for your show to do exactly what you need to do, but when stuff happens that you don't expect to happen, then you just like
it throws you a bit. Yeah,
she like that in prep. Yeah, I've just missed that bit anyway. Prep head. I did get. I got the prep head. I did get the prep head majorly, like so slow. It's like first prep it was little bits, but second prep for the world championships, that's when it was starting to show. Starting to show. It got to the stage where, like, I don't know, you just your head just doesn't
compute. It's like
it doesn't no, it doesn't even I was like, I didn't even know what colour socks to wear one day. Like, I was just like, oh it was just I didn't even watch TV most didn't even watch TV because I didn't even have the headspace, because all it was it was just like pausing, sleeping, eating, training, going to work, being, obviously, it doesn't affect your work, you make sure it doesn't affect your work, but you are a lot slower.
Absolutely. I know about that.
Yeah, and you look like death.
The first prep for me was the same as well, because I don't think I got it as bad. But then when I was prepping for the finals, like, I could just sit somewhere and just sit.
Yeah,
I don't actually know I'm there, and like come and say like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Oh, am I even still here? I'm not. I don't quite know where I am."
Yeah.
And your legs just don't want to move. You're like, just stand. Sometimes I will stand somewhere and just stand and not be able to actually physically move myself. It's mad.
Yeah. No, I get that totally. I think with me, it just looked like, because I got major prep face as well to go with it. Major. And like, people would be like, and I just looked, people thought I was just wanting to chin them, or I just looked angry, or I was like, so I've done it again. What you like? Bless her. Yeah. So so it was, but because when I look back, I'm like, friggin' hell.
What was that?
Yeah, I no wonder people were like, "Are you all right?" Going into Tesco.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, or people just go and stare at you. But then you just think but then you think it's normal.
Yeah, or you can't see yourself that way, do you?
No, and like, even like being super lean as well, you don't see it. You don't see what the people say.
Lean, to be fair, you don't actually think you're that lean, because you still look at yourself and think, like, I could go in a bit more. I'm not lean enough.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like, you would only notice, because when you get so far into your prep, and then and then it gets to day, your body's changing every day.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're like, oh wow, I've got a vein on my leg.
Yeah.
Oh, where did that come from? And then, like, oh my god, I've got veins all the way down my legs. And then say if you go in the bath and you're like, oh my god, look at my arms.
I've got a roadmap of veins everywhere.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know, it's just like, I think I posted one on my story once, and it was like, it was me abs, and I just was like, look at these. And then my coach was like, yeah, you're getting a refeed, girl. I was just like, okay,
all right. Okay,
Yeah, it was.
It's such an
I'll have to remember that for
thing.
next time when you want a refeed. Just go, look at my abs, look at all of these. Can we have a refeed now?
A couple of days and then he'll get a refeed. It's such a
But
weird
yeah,
thought. Like I live for that side, and even though it's the hardest bit towards the back end, it's the changes that you see in yourself, as you say, every day. Like you wake up and you look completely different to how you were yesterday.
yeah.
I just find that incredible, don't you?
It is, yeah, it is. It is incredible. It is, because you don't, when you're there, when you're at that level, you don't think it can go any further, but it
No,
does,
don't.
and it just keeps going and going. But it's because you just keep doing what you need to do, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, how far can you go with this?
How can you actually take this? It's like we're still going, and it's
Yeah, but you love it though as well, though. And that's another thing.
absolutely.
That's another thing as well. So when with posing and stuff, when you're getting leaner and leaner, it's like I was like, oh, I can't wait to go in the studio and just to see what I look like today.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, that wasn't there last time. And then that's when and that's another thing with the posing as well. Like you kind of, your body looks totally different when you're at a certain depth of being, you know, an off season to being lean.
Yeah.
So it's like your body might look really good in off season one way, but then when you're really lean, it might not do you any justice, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, it's exciting, and I loved it. And that I got some, like, say the next day when you wake up and you look in the mirror, and sometimes I would just burst out laughing.
Like,
I would burst out. I was like, I would just be like, oh my god, look at it. And you'd see me having a conversation with myself. It's like, well, I would be, because no one else is up at that frigging time in the morning. Do you know what I mean?
You would have to
A frigging daft
with
clock.
yourself. Yeah.
Having a freaking party in the kitchen. I'm like, look at this. Ooh. I loved it. I still do. I absolutely bounce off it. But yeah. So sorry, we've gone off, haven't we? So when with the pro and stuff, getting the pro card.
Yeah.
At that point, I was just like, oh, what's going on? And they were like, and I was just like, thanks. And I just didn't know how to react to it. And but it was all good. But I didn't know exactly what it meant either afterwards. I didn't know what that was going to bring. You know, I didn't. It was next for the journey type of thing. And they said, "Oh, look, if you accept the pro card, you know, would you want to come back and compete with the pros tonight?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then what was running through my head was, "Well, I haven't got enough food. I haven't got enough food to."
That's the first thing you think about.
I was like, I haven't got enough food for today. So my coach and that, we had to she had to go and sort me out with some food, bless her. She looked after me. And so we went back on and done it again, and we won that as well as a pro. And at that point I was just like, oh my god. It was like, I think since I started, it's just been a whirlwind, and then it's just carried on, like through every stage I've been on. It's just been an experience in itself. So now I'm a pro.
Yeah, you're a pro now, and a pretty damn good looking one as well at that.
Thank you.
Absolutely phenomenal. We're just going to go back slightly to the posing side, Heather. So you know, when we've been saying about posing in when you're in off season and when you're lean, do you feel like you can pose better when you're leaner, or does it not make a difference to you whether when you are in off season, do you struggle to pose in off season? Because I found that my posing is much easier when I'm leaner.
In terms of fitness wise or headspin, there's two different sides there, isn't there, really?
Yeah, well, no, just in terms of the movement and how the ease of being able to showcase what you're trying to showcase. Because obviously when you're in off season, you don't really see the muscle as much, do you?
No, you don't know.
You're trying to get your biceps going, you're trying to get your lats out. Yes, the posing is there, but there is no pop. Do you still find off-season posing is just shit, basically?
Well, off-season posing for me, I think it's harder to prioritize.
Okay.
I think, because when you lean and you're prepping for a show, it is a big priority. But in off season, it still needs to be a priority. But
Yeah.
it's so easily to
Not do it. Yeah.
yeah. And but in terms of but the thing is, well, you need to do it though. You still need to do it because
Do it. Yeah. Yeah.
as well. You have to be able to hold the pauses. So that if you need to if you do it in the off season, that's gonna build you up for when you do go into prep as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with, say, when you're going into movements, like say if I tried, I don't know if I'd ever actually try and do my routine now with a bit more, a bit more on me. I might actually give it. I might actually.
Heather, do it.
I'm gonna do it, not now, but I'm actually gonna give it a go. To be honest, see what it, and I'll let you know if I can do it or not.
Yeah.
But like flexibility wise and stuff, yeah, because you're a lot lighter on your feet.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was really lean, I was just trying to push myself into as many different angles and shapes as I could, and just to try and get some sort of I just wanted a different look to everyone else. I want it to be different. I just want it to be different and not just go for the standard, whatever, like the bog standard, what people would go for. Well, not bog standard, but like the more common pose.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I just want it to be different, more I just wanted to I'm just trying to think of the right words, but you know what I mean. Just I wanted
to stand out, and you wanted to be different. To like, obviously, the more you stand out, you're most likely to be critiqued more. Do you know what I mean? So the poses themselves also have to be bang on, which for you, I think they are. But also that puts the spotlight on you if you're different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely want to stand out. But yeah, you're right. It's like, sometimes if you need to go for your strongest, you need to show off your strongest areas, don't you?
Yeah.
So you don't show, you're trying to avoid your weaker areas, and show your most strong, your stronger areas.
Absolutely. And you ever get like, you're quite confident as a person, aren't you? Really? Would you say?
I think I am now. I don't know, really. I guess so. Yeah, I think so.
Do you ever get imposter syndrome, thinking like, "Oh, am I good enough?" Do you ever get that, or do you just you don't sort of thing, and you just go through like smash everything?
Well, I think for me, when I learn something, or when I want to do something, I always want to be my best at it. And I think if I learn something, I like to learn it inside and out. And then when I do, I get really good at it, and then I'm really confident with it. And that's when it's, and then I bounce off it. And I do that even just with work and stuff, do you know, when you have something that you own, and then it's like, it's your baby, it's I'm just like that as a person. Like if you're going to do it, you do it properly. And that's just how I am as a person. I do have a quite high standard. I have a high standard of myself, because why not,
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I've always been like that. But when you are in prep, you do get those moments where you're like, oh, and I remember when I went to, it was Romania. When I went to Romania, it was the one before Olympia. That was last year. And because I don't know, I didn't think I was pumped up enough, because I didn't think I was like, yep, nope, that's not good enough. And I was really like pulling myself to bits and stuff before I went on stage, like, yep, that's not good enough. And I don't know why. I don't know why, because everyone was like, chill out, you're fine. I'm like, oh, but I could be better, because you always want to be better. You always want to be better, and you always want more. And that was kind of like what I was feeling before I went on that stage. And then afterwards, I gave myself such a hard time over the photos and that. But to be honest, they were absolutely fine. So yeah, you do get a little bit of that. But it's mad, because when I'm on all of the stages that I've been on, I haven't been. When you're on your lineup, and I don't look at anyone else. I don't look at anyone. I'm just me, so I don't have a clue what they look like.
Right. Okay.
I just don't have a clue what they look like on stage. I'll just focus on, me being me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I lost my train of thought now. Why was I saying that? Yeah. Oh, that, yeah. And that was, yeah, because when I did my first competition, my first ever show, and we obviously I wasn't in the right category, and when they didn't call me, and I didn't have a clue what they looked like until after the show, until afterwards, and I look back, I was like, oh fucking hell, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But at the time when they didn't call me, I was like, oh well, never mind. I wasn't good enough. Do you know what I mean? And that's what went in my head. And then when I looked back, they were like, no, Heather, look. I was like, oh right, okay. And then that's when that's the same kind of thing when I went to Romania, when that same type of thing. I was like, didn't think I was going to be good enough. But then when I look back, I was just like, oh yeah. It's because you don't look at the other people who you're competing against, which is the best way, really.
It's the best way, really. It's the best way. Bringing me to a really interesting side of the competition day, show day, so it's different when you're on stage. Obviously, you need to be zoned in and not like really focus on whoever is next to you. Just try and do you. Because really, this podcast also is to help upcoming bodybuilders or those who are just in the beginning of their journey to find ways to navigate through different problems throughout their journey before they get on stage, up to the very day of a show day. So in terms of trying to maintain that composure and trying to stay in your own bubble, obviously you've said you stay in your zone and don't look at other people. Now, important question, Heather. How does that apply for when we're going in for tanning? Do you look at other people? Because obviously you're all there with nothing on and you can see exactly what you're competing against. Do you compare or don't you?
Well, in the tanning, because obviously you go in, you get your tan, you come out, and then everyone's hovering around a frigging dryer, and everyone's just like that. But everyone's from different categories. So and you don't have a clue who's doing what. So I'm just like yapping on them. I'm like, oh yeah, you're all right. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, so at that point, you don't know who's going to be on stage with you. But I wouldn't ask them either,
Would you not? Because I find the girls
did I ask or not?
each other. Some girls actually do. So you kind of you end up listening to conversations, and in that moment, the last thing you want is to know who you're competing against. Because I find like I just want to like put headphones on. Obviously, I can't go with headphones on in tanning, but if I could, I would. Because what happens sometimes is the girls will say, "Oh, are you a figure? What are you? What category are you in?" And you kind of
actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, I probably did. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't interrogate them. I think natural conversation. You would be like, "Oh, so what are you competing?"
Yeah,
you would do that. Or yeah, I guess so. Yeah, natural conversation. Yeah.
So in that instance, would you compare and would you think like, oh, I'm slightly better or I'm slightly worse than her? Because I feel like that's really, really hard place to navigate your emotions. And you are in your own head anywhere at that point. And like you're trying to, as best as you can, to try and remain in that bubble so that you keep your focus. But I always find for me, I struggle with that when all the girls are out in the same place and I just end up looking and I'm thinking like, she's really good. Oh my God, I need to think about what I'm going to be doing on the next one so that I look that good. Do you know what I mean? But that's just me.
I think so, because obviously when you're tanning, you normally get tan like the day before, don't you? And then you're going to look totally different on show day.
On show day, yeah.
Yeah, so once you're all like, you've got your carbs in you and you look totally different. I think I even done a reel the other day when I was the night before, just had my first coat of tan, and I was like, and then on stage day I was like that, like blown right up. So you just look totally different, and anything could happen as well, though. So and that's why you just gotta go with it and just concentrate on you. You know, like don't overthink what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True.
That's what I haven't done that before. I haven't overthought of what other people are doing. It's like fair enough when you're pumping up backstage and you're like,
yeah, that's hard. Like you're
That's
looking at everyone and thinking like, oh my God, she looks amazing. You're thinking like, I'm going up against that. Thinking,
yeah, that's different because obviously everyone's got the game face on, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make eye contact. You're looking.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that's the hardest bit compared. It's not even the tanning now that you've mentioned it. It is the pump up. Because you really get to see people's bodies as they would be on stage.
Yeah.
That's hard. But I think I zone out at that point. I feel like I zone out and I kind of tend not to look and just concentrate on my pump and go in my head. I go through my routine. I go through my posing in my head, like visualizing doing and how I need to be holding myself. And I feel like that takes away the distractions from what everyone else is doing.
Next door. Shush! We're on a podcast.
Is there somebody going past?
Yeah, I've got it's next door. Next door's just gone past. Yeah, what they like. Bad timing, eh? But they stop back.
We invite everything in this podcast, dogs and all. It's fine.
Yeah, they're good. They just want to be in it. What they like. I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, so pumping up backstage and stuff. That's totally different, isn't it? Because you do see what they look like, and you wouldn't be human if you didn't check them out. Like you check the competition out and you're like, all right, okay. But at that point,
that's what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm dealing with.
At that point, it's just all about being confident and concentrating on your posing. But like you say, it's like you could have the best physique, but if you can't pose, or as well, because different federations look for different things. They have the criteria as well, and like some of them they score you on either symmetry or size, or it's not just the biggest person wins or the leanest person wins, or it's like not everyone's going to be perfect, or do you know what I mean? Everyone will be like, oh, well, they might be bigger, but they're not, but they're leaner, do you know what I mean? So it's like an overall score of where you would fit in the criteria. So even if you are pumping up and you might think, oh my God, they're massive, but you might have stronger points than them that might kind of outwin that, so you just got to think of that as well.
Yeah, it's really focusing on your own self and what you're presenting on the day, and like just having that confidence to know that you've done your best, you've got yourself to that point, and all you need to do is just see it through. Because you don't know what the judges want at the end of the day. It will be what they want, what they're looking for on the day, and who's next to you, basically. So
it's who turns up and what the judges are looking for. And it's different on every single stage.
Yeah, it is, and every single federation has got different criteria for what they want. So even though you might do very well in one federation, you might go to a different federation and place last. I mean? And yet you won on one federation. So it's always going to be very different in different federations. So that's quite important to put it out there, so that whoever is starting out or whoever is like on the way to the very beginning of their first show do actually realize this and go into it knowing that you shouldn't really be so uptight about the small stuff. You just do your best and present the best you can. Go with what your coach tells you to do. Tick all your boxes through your prep and make sure that you're presenting yourself in the very best way you can on the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now we're almost there, Heather, but not before.
All right. I don't mind. It's good us having a chat.
I want us to touch on a slightly different subject now. So we've gone through all our preps, we've gone through shows, we've gone through competition and people and how you feel before you get onto stage, looking at other people, looking at other competitors. So we've covered all that, which is great. But now I want us to focus on post-show, right? So post-show and the food aspect of things. I want you to talk to us about how you navigate your post-show hunger to start with, how you navigate going through post-show in terms of easing back into eating normally again, and what things you put in place to make sure that you're actually getting your reverse is going as it should be, and you're not tipping over to the other side where you end up overdoing things.
Yeah, that's a lot of people don't speak about that, do they?
No, they don't at all. And
No,
that's really big. I feel like it needs speaking about a lot more, because to say that I was shocked when I came off stage in terms of how I felt is an understatement.
yeah.
It scared me, like really
Yeah.
scared me, because I didn't know what was going on
Wow.
myself and in my body. It did scare me, like literally. And I for some time I thought that my body was broken and I couldn't.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just want you to talk to us through your experience and shed some light on any tips that you may have to help other athletes who are going into this, so that they are actually properly prepared for it.
Yeah. So this year, this is like my first real off season.
Okay.
So this is my first off season. So coming off my last stage, when I did, and in terms of hunger, yeah, I could eat, but then I was like, well, yeah, I could eat, but then it's like, well, I don't feel full. Don't feel full, so I could eat more. And I was like, and that was an area where you have to really drill down on, is, are you just eating for the sake of eating?
Yeah.
Or are you eating because you are actually hungry? And because when you prep, all of your hormones are at rock bottom, aren't they? When you're prepping. So when you've come away from that, and you want to get the fat back on you, and you want to build up your fat levels quite quickly to because obviously you want your hormones back, because you lost them all, and then it's really hard to know when you're full, because that hormone doesn't really work.
It doesn't work. No.
It doesn't work.
What is this?
and then so for me, I didn't have any binging episodes, but there was a few times where I felt like, oh, I think I've overeaten, but not because I was full. It's because I could feel it there, because it's too much. And I think as well, and another thing as well, when you're not used to certain foods. So I remember, because when I got back from Olympia, and I went out with my mum and dad, and we had like fish and chips. It was we just went to a restaurant, and I thought, oh, I'll get some nice fish and chips. So it wasn't like from the chippy, it was like nice. I thought, nice, fish and chips, and they just whack a lot of salt and vinegar on it, and it was lovely. But my body rejected it, because it was like, what is that? What? I you know what I mean? I was just like, ugh, and I felt really poorly afterwards. I didn't feel very well afterwards, and I felt so bad, because it was a lovely meal that I had with my mum and dad. Because obviously you miss out on, that's another thing as well. You missed out on a lot, haven't you? But it was like, oh, body didn't really like that. So, and then you crave things what you haven't had in such a long time. For instance, that's what my choice was. Oh, how about go for fish and chips? So you crave things that you haven't had for such a long time. But then depends on, well, yeah, I suppose when you're in off season, you've got to think to yourself what's going to be beneficial for what you're doing. It's like, say, when you're in off season, oh, well, I can have a pizza every weekend, I can have a takeaway every weekend because I'm in off season. And you can't, because you're just going to get fat. And then that there is a discipline. That there is a total different type of discipline to a prep discipline. Because when you've been prep, you're like, right, nothing's going to come on my way, nothing's going to stop me. I am in it, doing this to the letter. but then you don't have to be as strict now.
Yeah.
But you do, but not to that extreme.
Yeah.
But then it's like you have to be really disciplined not to go over and just be a pig, because you and that's, I know it's quite awful saying that, but it's you have to really drill down in, are you being greedy or not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't. It's as if you have to train yourself to walk again.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of like how it feels, because you don't know. And like, I remember when it was post show. Yeah, when early into my off season, and there's a bakery around the corner, and all I wanted was one of their sandwiches. Right? They make because. I think they opened when I was in prep. Bearing in mind I was prepping for like 2 years, and I was like, I just want a fucking sandwich. I just want a sandwich. and I went there, and eventually, and I was like, could I have a sandwich, please? Could I have a sandwich, please? And she's like, sorry, we haven't got any today.
Oh my God, no way.
Like,
oh, did you stand back?
I was like, and then so I was like, right. And then I'm in the bakery. I was like, right, okay. So can I have a flapjack? Can I have a Cornish pasty?
So you chose everything else.
I thought I'm gonna do this properly. I'm gonna have this. I want that. And I think it was about 4 items I had, and I ate them all.
Oh look, baby.
And that there is a no. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. But that was one time, and I kind of messaged my coach. I was like, yeah, I had a pasty, a soft roll, and a flapjack, and what she said to me was, she said, Heather, you can't do that because you'll end up making yourself poorly.
Yeah.
And when she said it, I don't know how, but when she said it, I was just like, oh,
yeah,
what am I doing?
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Don't do that.
You know, I'm a pro bodybuilder. I've got things to do.
Like that. What is this you're doing?
Yeah, and I just kind of like, I thought, oh, and it shocked me, because you can make yourself really poorly.
Yeah.
And lots of people, and then that's when you talk about the rate of gain as well, isn't it? So when you're in your off season, of how quickly you're putting the weight on. And that's what I really had to focus on. That was just one episode, and I haven't had any other episodes like that again.
Okay.
And I think that was just a bit of a scary moment for me, where I thought, oh, yeah, you can't do that. And I think it was just the words that she said. She's like, you're going to make yourself really poorly. You know, you can't do that. And I was just like, oh.
Okay.
It was kind of like, yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a bit of an eye opener. But a lot of people. That's why it's so important to have a coach.
Yeah.
Not just in prep. You know, because mentally, because I kept saying to her, I kept saying to my coach, I was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
Why? I said, I just want to eat all the time.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm like, I just want to eat all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just found it really hard. And then, but no one speaks about it. No one says, oh, I'm really struggling. You know, no one says anything about it. And I was like, I wasn't struggling. I just found it really difficult, and I felt like there was not really anyone to speak to about it, apart from my coach. I was just like, this is hard. Yeah, I just found it really, really hard. And then choosing the foods as well, because when you've been on a fixed plan for such a long time, and then you come off that, then it's like, right, you've got to switch your head back on now. What's normal food?
Yeah.
What do normal people
eat?
Yeah. How much pasta am I meant to have?
Yeah.
What's classed as too much? What's classed as too little?
Exactly. Really
and that was like another learning thing for me. But another big thing is what my coach, she wanted me to do was, she didn't want me to track. So she didn't want me to track my food, because we had such a long time of having the 2 years,
Yeah.
because before that I was tracking,
Yeah.
then we went into prep, which was tracking, and then your meal plan and everything else, and then it was like 2 years off the bounce and of no break of, and then so she said, look, I want you to, you know, teach you how to eat in, you know, is it intuitive eating, like, you know, just she wanted me to learn that.
Yeah.
And that's been my journey this year, as not tracking my food, and that's been, it's been difficult, but I've done it. And because everyone said, oh, you're carrying your physique really well with your off season, and so I'm doing it right. I'm
Yeah.
doing it right. But another thing as well, because I went on holiday, what month are we on now? Yeah, June. Went on holiday in June. And yeah, no, sorry, May. What yeah, May.
June now, Heather. May.
Yeah, went on holiday in May. And I was really nervous about it because I'm thinking, oh, I haven't been on holiday in such a long time, and it's all inclusive.
Oh,
And well, I can eat whatever I want now. Like, you know, and then that was another part that I had to experience. You know, it feels like, oh my God, total freedom. But it wasn't, and it was weird because I went for the foods that I liked.
Yeah.
And the foods that I liked was fish. And
still healthy stuff.
Yeah, I just go for the healthy stuff. But it's because I like it now.
Yeah,
I like it. And it's
you don't see yourself eating anything else because that's what you like anyway.
Yeah. I was just eating all the foods that I liked. And it was just all about balance. It was just learning balance. And that's what I've done, is just learn balance. And yeah, and it's a hard one to crack.
It is.
But you know, I'm still learning. But you know, yeah.
But I feel like once you've got to that point where you learn how to create that balance, then you can stay in it. Even when you go back into prep and come out the other end again, you will be able on the next one to actually maintain that balance compared to somebody who's like on their first go. Do you know what I mean? It will be easier for you going forward now because you will know what the body likes and what the body doesn't. You will know how it feels to like eat something and your body rejecting it, like you said with your fish. And you will know, because I remember when I think I had just far too many pancakes with maple syrup on, and I felt ill. I really did feel ill, and I thought, like, I don't want to feel like that again. And I think that's the wake-up point for me, thinking like, yeah, as much as I want to eat everything all the time, I really don't want to feel like that, because I did feel ill, and it was not nice. It was not pleasant at all. And one thing that people can take away from this is the fact that, yeah, the food will always be there. And I know it's easier said than done, because you kind of can't control it. It's like your body is saying like, yeah, feed me, and it put more food in. We're still hungry. And it's really, really hard. And I think like off season or coming off the competitive season is much harder to navigate than actually being in prep, because they prep, you're zoned in, you're focused, you've got your tick boxes to go by, you know, you've got your coach there, you've got like everything has to be a certain way because you've got something to work towards. Now when that gets taken away and there's nothing to like focus on, and all of a sudden you've been let out into the big wide world, as you say, it's like learning to walk again. It's like, you know, how much is too much? I don't know, but I'm not full yet. I still want to eat that. But it's there so I can eat. I'm not being limited to anything. You know, you've been given the free reign. It's like, do you or don't you still ask for a plan? Because I feel like I would have functioned better if I was still given a plan, even if it's not a plan that includes just the things that you eat during prep. But I feel like I could have done with a plan, you know, like eat this amount of chips and eat this amount of,
like an instruction type of thing.
Just to try and, you know, still maintain a bit of control without feeling like I'm still not allowed to eat anything. I'll still be able to eat, but just not in those amounts, because they were stupid amounts. Like, it was stupid. And looking back now, obviously it's something that I never want to ever go through again. And I know I will never go through that again because I know how bad I felt. So yeah, it's just about getting to that point where you find a balance, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think because once you've found it as well, it's like which depends with the choices that you make as well, what food choices you make. Because I found like to keep me full, I was just putting more greens on my plate
Okay.
just to fill me up. As long
Right.
as and I would just prioritize my protein. And then so how I navigated it was I was just having my protein, still so just eat, have 5-6 meals a day,
Yeah.
and then just protein, fill it up with your greens, and then just fuel your workouts, and that's pretty much what I've done. But then sometimes I'm looking and like there's like grown men at work and they've got like a pack of noodles for the lunch, and
I know. No. Huh?
and there's me. I've got chicken and sweet potato. Do you know it's chicken, sweet potato? And I'm just like, right, and then I'll have another meal in about 3 hours. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, am I eating too much now? But they're grown
Yeah.
men.
Why are they not eating enough?
Yeah, yeah. So it just goes on what food choices you make as
Yeah.
well. And that's another thing what I've learned is from being a bodybuilder now is just appreciating your food so much more.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, appreciating your food so much more. Because like before it was all about quantity and it was all about quantity and like, oh, I'll have lots of chips or crisps and chocolate but you won't just have a couple of squares of chocolate, you'll have a full bar of chocolate and you don't need it. You don't need it. But now it's like, you can have all the bits that you like, but you don't need shed loads of it. Like, say, with my breakfast this morning, I've had like my protein oats, and I put like pineapple on it, some berries on it, I put blueberries on it, some frozen berries, some pineapple, and I did it with my protein powder, and then I got some dark chocolate, and then I sort of shaved that, I like cut that up, and then I put that over the top, and it was pretty lovely.
Yeah.
And then when I tracked it with the calories, it was like, I don't know, it was like 300 and something calories, but it was like really nice.
Nice, yeah.
And
That
all
is
the things that I
what
like.
you said there is my breakfast. Like that's the best meal for me on the day because I put that chocolate in and I have my berries in and I have my protein in and like I look forward to that meal because I can't always get in like my eggs and my porridge at the same time. So I'll have my eggs first thing because I wake up at after o'clock. I have my eggs first thing, and then I look forward to the porridge at about 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have that. And as you say, it's not that many calories in it, but it's just full of goodness and it tastes amazing. It tastes really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another thing. Like a lot of people, they don't realize how many calories are in certain foods either.
True.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. So, but yeah, and I suppose that's another, say when you track as well, because if you're tracking, you can visually see how many calories are there in it. But when you're not tracking, you can't. But then you've got to use what as long as you've got your protein, you've got a reasonable amount of carbs, and the rest of it, fill it up with your greens. Then that's that's how you would work it really.
That's a really good way to look at it actually. Like obviously with going through prep for a long time, you kind of have an idea of what the quantities should look like anyway. So really going into the off season or coming off a competition season, you really just need to focus on like obviously still prioritizing protein. And if you still feel the need to like eat more, just fill your plate up with like greens, like you say, to like kind of fill up that space. And then you're still hitting the right sort of numbers without necessarily bogging yourself down with counting and tracking, but kind of have a visual of roughly where you need to be in terms of your protein intake and your carbs and finding a balance from there. And it's all learning, isn't it? And trying to learn what works and what doesn't.
It is, yeah. It's like because even because say when you're craving like something sweet or if you want chocolate or whatever, like so I would have like a light hot chocolate, and that would give me my chocolate fix, but it's got I tracked it 39 calories.
940 calories, yeah.
So that was a little fix. Or I would have an apple. What I found, I think it was last year, an apple. But obviously, if you cut your apple up, and then you put cinnamon on your apple.
Ooh.
Right? So say when you've had a really nice dinner, or and you always crave something sweet afterwards, just have an apple with a bit of cinnamon on it. I was just like, this works. This so works. Instead of having loads of chocolate.
Yeah.
Just other ways of getting your fixes without going for. But there's nothing wrong with chocolate. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not.
As long as you know how to control the amount you're having, obviously, because that's because for some people they'll open a bar of chocolate and they'll have to eat it all. Do you know what I mean? So rather than do that, have an apple with a bit of cinnamon on.
Have apple and cinnamon.
I cinnamon most things. My porridge I usually say, I joke about this because when I do it in the office, people are like, Carol, would you like some porridge with your cinnamon? Because I just put lots of cinnamon on it. I love it.
It's nice. It is nice.
Yeah. Oh, this has been so good, Heather. Like, it's just really, really nice to get to get behind who you are and like your way of being and how you've been through your competitions and how you present yourself, both to the audience and to the judges. I've always looked up to it, and I've always said, like, God, this is something to aspire to. So it's been really nice to get you on and to get you to talk about everything in terms of your journey up to where you are at this point. So finally, I would like to know one more thing from you, if you don't mind sharing, is what lessons have you learned through bodybuilding, since you began, and what tips would you like to share with new or aspiring athletes to help them become better as they start or they continue through the sport, which is very extreme, as we know, and it demands a lot, both physically and mentally, out of the athletes in question?
Wow. I would say what I've learned is a lot. I've learned so much. I think just appreciate the people that you have around you. I think just appreciate the people that you've got around you. Social occasions. Because with social occasions, it is difficult. So if you can go to any social occasion, just try your hardest to make the effort and go to it, and try and make it work. Because you can always take your prep food, or or just try and.
You look like the weirdo in family parties with your Tupperware, bringing everywhere. It's like, what is
They've got a roast dinner. It's like, oh, I'll just have the bed, please, and I'll have to sort the rest out myself. You can make it work. Like, even when you're making plans with your friends and stuff like that, if you can't go on nights out and stuff, you just make plans where you can do things together, like go on nice walks together, or just more activity based stuff. Just try and keep in touch with your friends as best you can, because you're so zoned in what you're doing, it consumes a lot of your time.
True.
So you've just got to make sure that you allow as much time as you can for the people that you care about. So that was one thing. I think in terms of shows, any tips? Because I did make a little bit of a mistake. Well, not a mistake. I just didn't really know, to be honest. But when I was first stepping into it, but I went on to my first show, but I had a plan for what other show I was going to do, another federation, and I paid for the hotel and my registration fee for this other federation, but I didn't end up going, and I didn't get that money back either, because obviously, so don't plan too far in advance, because your journey can go
and change,
anyway. So just have like a your dates, jotted down, but don't pay for things too far in advance, because it might change. And that's what happened to me. So just don't pay for things too far in advance. But planning is key, though. Planning is key. Just don't pay for too far in advance. But planning is absolute key. Like, just planning was, you just got to pause early as you can, prioritize your posing as best you can. Put as much time into your posing, because you will get slower, you will get tired. Absolutely. And there will be a point where, you know, like you said, your legs feel so heavy, and you're so tired. So yeah, just plan plenty of time. Make sure you prioritize your posing. What else was the question? It was a long question, wasn't it?
Yeah, what would you share with new and aspiring athletes, or the current ones even, who are still going through the journey, in terms of what you've done to help you get to where you are, or even achieve the pro card, the very much coveted pro card? What sort of lessons, literally just anything in general that would help people to get themselves to, you know, that top level, which you've already shared.
I would just set yourself a very high standard for yourself, and don't think for anything less. That's just a mindset that you need to be. You need to have in your head, you are going to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
And nothing less. And as long as you put 100% into everything that you're doing, then only great things can come.
Absolutely. I agree with that. 100%. Yeah. And it's very much a mindset thing, isn't it? And it's just quietening down the self-doubt and the voices in your head that tell you like you're not good enough in those days, especially at the back end of prep, where you just feel like, God, I just wanted this, I want it done. I'm so done with it. And then the self-doubt creeps in, and then you start thinking, why even am I doing this? You know, it's just
and I think it's keeping that positive mindset, isn't it? I think it's keeping positive, and don't compare to anyone else, because everyone's different. You know, you're not going to be someone else because you are who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you can't compare yourself to other people. You've just got to work on yourself, and that's a journey in itself, because that's what it's all about. It's all about being better in yourself. That's the journey of improving yourself.
Yeah.
So, and you should be proud of it.
100% agree. Oh gosh, we could speak to you all day, Heather.
I know, we should do a take two.
Oh my God. Definitely need a take two of this, because I feel like there's so much more we can dive into, like just general life and not bodybuilding, and we can still be here like 24 hours later, still going.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I cannot tell you how much of a fan I have been of yours, Heather. You have no idea. I've followed you for a while, so being able to actually get you on here has absolutely made my day. And
so much.
Have you on my own podcast is an absolute dream come true.
Thank you.
I think you're amazing as not just as an athlete, but as a person.
Thank you very much.
As I say, I'm so glad I finally got to know you in person, and not just an Instagram stalker.
Honestly, I really appreciate that you've invited me on. I haven't been asked on a podcast, so so I'm really grateful that you've asked.
Yay!
You're number one girl.
Nice. I like that. And thanks for all the tips and tricks, obviously, that you've shared with us in terms of what made you get to where you are. Very much appreciated, and I'm sure the listeners will get so much out of it as well, especially for new and upcoming athletes who are looking to join bodybuilding as a sport. We enjoy it as it is, and we hope that they will get so much value from this. And I'm really, really appreciative of you being able to share that with us. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in a competitive season again. When is it? When are we going in again?
Well, I think it just depends on this first off season, really. I think when at the end of the year, I think we'll probably just assess and see how well I do. At the moment, it's going really well. Okay. But I feel like I'm just getting warmed up with it, you know.
Right. Okay.
So, and I just want to be the best. So do you know when you just like, but then it's like, well, how long do you want to be in off season for? You know what I mean? It's like you've got to like, come on, Heather. Like,
Come on, Heather. How long?
Sometimes, like, not yet.
Not yet.
So I don't know. I think I don't know. I think we'll probably just assess at the end of the year and just see if we can be jumping on stages next year.
Right.
But we'll see. See what the physique looks like by the end of it.
I'll tell you what, I'll keep my eye out. I'll be watching. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how you look on your next competitive season. Because
I would definitely want to be bigger. Bigger. Want to be bigger.
Bigger all the time. Yeah. But I'm sure you will. You're very determined, and I'm sure when you put your mind to something, you absolutely smash it out the park. So
I'm giving it as much as I can, and then just see how much is gained by the end of the year, because it for natural bodybuilding it just takes such a long time to get the muscle. So hopefully I'll have enough, and then we'll be prepping again.
Not hopefully, you bloody well will.
I will. All right, I'll have enough. Hopefully it's going to be. Wait, no, it will be big.
To share with some of us who haven't got very much. That'll be good. Heather, it's been so lovely to have you on, my love. So I will let you go for now because I'm sure you've got other things to attend to as well. But again, thank you so much for coming on to Lifted. And I hope we will be able to pick this up again at some point, whether it's when you go back on stage or just before you go back, just to see how you're looking and to see where you're at further down the year as you go along through your off season. Okay. But thank you so much. And love, and speak to you soon, my dear.
And you too. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
And just before you go, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel so you don't ever miss any upcoming episodes. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Carol West Coaching. Are you interested in coaching or joining our team as a client? We offer photo shoot, body transformations, as well as bodybuilding competition prep packages. The team at the Elevate Health and Body Transformation Program are ready and waiting to help you achieve and maintain your dream physique. Whether you're looking to step on stage or just want to do it for yourself, you can send us a DM and we'll get you on the road to achieving a lean and fit physique. Bye for now.